This video we're going to be talking about what is investing, bringing it back to basics.
Let's do it. What is investing? Investing is when you spend your money on something that you think will generate a financial return, ideally a positive one. When you invest or buy shares of a company, you are essentially buying a small piece of that company. When you hear about people talking about investing, it usually involves people buying and selling shares of a company. However, nowadays, the stock market though isn't really a physical location. You might see on the news places like Wall Street or stock exchanges in different countries, but really what the stock market is a collection of companies that all exist online. So kind of think of it like Amazon or eBay. When you buy a product from Amazon or eBay, you're not really buying it necessarily from them, you're buying it from one of the many thousands of sellers that exist on the platform. So think of those sellers like all the companies that exist in the world, and Amazon or eBay's website as the stock market. If you want to go buy a company, you go onto the stock market and you see what companies are available to buy and sell at any particular moment.
Investing can mean a vast array of things. If you put resources into something, you should get a positive return. So the resources part of that formula could essentially be two things, time or money. For example, if you put time into learning the piano, you should become a piano player.
So how do you make money investing? You make money investing in two ways primarily. The first way is through price appreciation. So say you invest $100 into Netflix and Netflix share price increases by 50%, your $100 investment is now worth $150. Congratulations, you've just earned 50% on your investment. 2, dividends. What are dividends? Dividends are a portion of a company's profits paid to shareholders, i.e. you and I, on a quarterly basis, so every 3 months, and it's based on the amount of profits that a company has generated during that time or over the year. An important note though is that not all companies pay dividends. Dividends are usually paid by companies that have been around for a long time, that are already very profitable, and are usually very large companies. So take a couple of examples. You'd be looking at Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, these big, well-known companies that have grown and are well-known all across the world, and perhaps are not growing as fast as they once used to be. So instead, what they do with their profits is distribute them back to shareholders, so people who own a piece of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, or Procter & Gamble. And one last note on that, the other thing you need to remember is compound interest. And compound interest is your interest on interest, which is essentially your money making money. So how does compound interest work? Over time, the money that you invest in the stock market compounds or layers on top of each other, kind of like a cake, and as over time it just gets bigger and bigger. So the longer you are in the market and invested, the longer your money has to grow and the greater it can grow over time.
But investing differs to savings in two regards, both in terms of risk and reward. So with investing, you should expect higher returns of about 9 to 10% on average versus savings, which is maybe 0.05%, but you take on a higher degree of risk. Basically, the goal is to stay ahead of inflation, which is the general increase of prices over time.
So what can you invest in? You can invest in a vast number of asset classes. That can be stocks, shares, bonds, currencies, real estate, investing in your own company. And these are all elements of investing that we'll talk about in other videos. Our channel is primarily focused on the stock market, and we'll mostly be discussing stocks and shares, but stay tuned for some more videos where we'll be talking about those then.
Thanks for watching. We hope you now understand what investing is.
As always, if you have any questions at all, let us know in the comments below, or if there are topics that you want us to cover, make sure to let us know in the comments as well.
And make sure to hit that like button.
Hit it, and we'll catch you in the next one.